Delighted to welcome you to today's fixture. Tamworth versus FC United of Manchester. Very important game for us, and also delighted to welcome our sponsors today, which are CRMIT Centre. Very big welcome to you. Cheer, round of applause for yourselves. Very good. We're very grateful for your generous sponsorship of today's game. Hope you really enjoy yourselves here at the game and see a fantastic game. Wonderful performance by Tamworth, 3 points. Oh, there's the manager. No pressure. Good to see you, Mike. Thank you ever so much for coming over. And as always, we start with today's lineups.
Yeah, so obviously Jack's in goal. We're going with a back three today, so we've got Luke comes back in and captains the team. Jack on the left, Joel on the right. We go with Burnsy at right wing back. Sharpie comes in to replace Steph. Steph's injured. Jed and Verma in the midfield. Connor in the 10. Kwasi and Dior up top. Which leaves on the bench with Regan, Callum Powell, Darryl Knights, Michael Donoghue and Tom Shaw.
Okay, so first of all, just a few chat about why the changes have taken place today. Obviously, changes in the back there with Reese coming back in.
Yeah, well, Steph's done really well. He's set up all 4 goals last Friday night, so obviously it was a big loss for us. But prior to that, Reese lost his place in the team through injury as well. So I hope that Reese takes up from where Steph left off, and the competition for places has been good between them two because they've really both raised the standards. Luke Jones has come back in. Obviously, you know it's a big game, and the experience you need in these big games, you want your leader on the pitch, and he goes back into the team. And I think you'll see today that we'll be particularly a big team. I think there'll be a good 7 players, 6 foot plus, that we feel that after scoring 3 goals here against Ferriby, that we can continue that and be a threat to set plays as well. So
fantastic. And so, just looking back at the Ferriby game, reflections on that game, because it was a great evening in the rain.
Yeah, I mean, it was another game like today, really. A team that have been struggling, and that it was a must-win for us. It was a big game, and I felt for the first time since in a long time that when I'm putting the pressure on the lads to say that it's a big game, and like today, I'm not. Normally I wouldn't be too sure what I was going to get. And I think you've all seen that this season, but I think the last couple of games where we've had big games, they're starting to show that they're not frightened of the situation, and they're showing up. So it was a real positive night, loads of attacking play, created loads of chances, and for once we took our chances, which is something I've been harping on about for a long time, and it was exciting. It was a good day. It was a good night for the club.
What were your thoughts on reflecting back on the Stockport defeat?
I think we got what we deserved. I think we deserved just to lose the game. I think we got bullied at times through the game. We caused them problems, and when we went 1-0 up, and I thought we dominated the game for about 10 minutes, and we talked about it was a bad pitch and not making mistakes, and we made a couple of those mistakes and allowed them back in the game. And when you're a team like Stockport with 2,800 fans screaming behind you, if you win in, they're great. And they can spur you on, and if they're against you because the opposition are doing well, which they were for that 10 minutes, they get on their backs. And we didn't have long enough between our goal and them getting back in the game to kind of assert any more pressure and get anything out of the game. But certainly something we could have done. We could have got a point at the end.
Yes, and Dior is coming with 2 goals in 2 starts. What's your thoughts about Dior, the contribution he's making?
But he's been great. I mean, he's just got a willingness to run in behind. I think he's done it at the level below. He was somebody who was on our radar before he went to Port Vale. We actually put 7 days notice in for him to sign him, but he'd already had a deal to go to Port Vale, and he's had a bit of a hip flexor injury at Port Vale, which has stopped him playing. And I spoke to the assistant there, and he managed to get agree that we could have him, and it'd be good for his development because he's got a point to prove still, and that's why half the battle with players at this level is that the mentality has to be right. If the mentality is not right, then you're going to struggle. And the more you've got with a poorer mentality to approach the game, the less chance you've got of winning. So Dior is one of those that his focus and his professionalism is second to none, and he wants to do well.
And it's good to see the injured players come back in, Jonah and Reese. And obviously there was a bit of a scare about Jed, but he's playing today, which is great because he's certainly shown what the quality that he's got since he came back into the team, and a goal at Stockport as well.
Yeah, I think he did well. He did really well against Ferriby, coming back in after not playing. But he's not played 90 minutes all season. So coming into a game with that level of intensity, his body was always going to struggle. And we tried to manage his body throughout the week then the weekend with the Stockport game, and it just, the first couple of impacts meant that he took a few knocks and he's struggling, so we've got him treatment over the last couple of days, and he recovered enough to train on Thursday actually, and trained on Thursday, and he looks ready to go again, so hopefully another performance where he's brave and he gets on the ball and creates chances for us.
That's great. And sort of the one who sort of stood out as he came in and goal and clean sheet was Dan Jessup, and then he got injured. What's the news on Dan?
He trained this week. He's back training, which is great for us. And but I think, to be fair, at the time we were looking for something to change our fortune, and Dan came in and did that and got the clean sheet. But it's just football. One door closes, another one opens. Jack gets back in the team, and I think Jack's been really, really good since. So his standards have improved. On Thursday night, he was on fire on Thursday night. You just couldn't score against him. So hopefully there's another one of those today.
That's fantastic. And today's massive game. Absolutely. Every time we speak, every game gets bigger and bigger. But it's another 6 points that we've got to win, isn't it?
Yeah, but again, though, we keep talking about it's every game. Every game we go into is massive. Stockport away. Any other time in the season, nobody really expects us to win. As long as we're competitive and we give a good show of ourselves and give ourselves a chance to win the game, everyone comes away happy. And I think if that result and performance had been 4 months ago, I don't think anyone would have argued. It's just we're in a situation where every minute counts at the moment, and we've got to make the most of it. So today again, the boys will approach the game in the same way. They've been well prepared. We know what FC United are about. We think we know where we can exploit them. So there's a plan, and we're set up different. There's a different shape today. Slight tweak on the shape we've been playing with, and hopefully that will give us help us be dominant in certain areas of the pitch that will create us goals. So really looking forward to it. And again, like I said, the belief in the squad has always been there, and I think what we're seeing now is people coming from outside the squad into the squad, and what's pleasing for me is the players that are coming in. It's not having an adverse effect on the team. They've got a big reason to do well, because they're all waiting for their chance, and when the chance comes, they have to take it.
That's great. And you also talked this week in the press about the contribution of the fans and how the elements meant that people went in the shed, but it was a great noise last Friday night, and you talked about how important the fans are to the team. And especially today, because FC United, they'll be vocal in their backing as well with their fans, so it's going to be a great atmosphere. So the fans are going to be that 12th man today, aren't they?
Well, yeah, I think they have since I've been in charge, really. I think they have anyway. It was just the sheer volume of fans that were behind me the last game. It was even more noticeable that, everything I've asked for so far from a fan's perspective has been brilliant. They've got behind us. There's not been many moans and gripes from the stands, because they can see that the team are putting the effort on the pitch. And I know we're in the situation we're in. We all know what situation we're in, but fans see the players putting everything on the line for the club. They appreciate that. So it'll be the same again. I went to watch FC United 2 weeks ago against Gainsborough, and I sat in where their fans were singing, and it was great. So I'm expecting a bit of to and fro in today, and hopefully we can get on top of them and the fans and on the pitch.
Fantastic, and we certainly hope there's been a great atmosphere in the game today. And you must be pleased that actually our home form is much improving. It sort of took a dip mid-season, and obviously the reason why we're perhaps where we are, but certainly the home form seems to be improving now. But obviously with the very few games left, it's a target of maximum points, I would imagine.
Well, yeah, I mean, like I said before, your home. You all say your home games are really important. You've got to win home games, and you've just got to win games at this stage of the season, whether you're home or away. Our home form has picked up. We're unbeaten in 4 now against some good teams, and I hope today is another step forward for us.
Fantastic. And finally, you mentioned a couple of weeks ago about how many more players are coming in for the sort of Monday training sessions. Have you sort of in the last few weeks got any sort of extra special training sessions going on, or is it just business as usual?
When you're going from obviously the Friday night game to the Monday game, there's not a lot of turnaround. Their bodies, because the one thing like at the minute we're talking about, what does it take to prepare for a game like this? When you go into every week with a plan, whether it's technical, tactical, physical, or mental, how important each area of that is and what you prepare the players for. And I would certainly say that today would be 60% would be in their minds. They've got to get over the challenges they're going to face, and physically they've got to be right. Because you can talk about all the tactics in the world and all the technical stuff in the world, if they're not prepared to go and run around and meet those challenges head on, they're not going to win a game of football. So there'll be, this game, we've prepared for this game as we would, and we're well prepared, so hopefully they'll go and get the 3 points that we desperately need, and then we'll address next week with a fresh mind.
Mike, we really appreciate you coming across. All the best for today's game. Ladies and gentlemen, Mike Fowler.